Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Bebop here. Today we're going to be going over the Ranger class. These are pre-made classes at AGS, paired weapons together, just to give people some idea what weapons pair, together well. So when they're starting off, they'll have a good pairing and be able to rank up from there. So this is the Ranger class. It's the bow and the spear, or the spear and the bow, whichever order you want to put them in. And let's go over some of the attributes here. The attributes, so for the spear, it ranks up with Dex first, then Strength. So if you go over the spear right here, you'll see Dex and then Strength. And the bow scales purely with Dex. So with this build, you're going to want to spec into Dex a lot. Now, once you get plenty of attribute points in here, you could go to the first and second dot on Strength to get to light attack damage buff, and then the 10% heavy attack damage buff. And also it will make your spear stronger. So this is, when you're ranking up, this is a really good way to start right here. 100 Dex, 50, Strength. And then you just work your way up from there with the Dex. And then if we go to spear, start off with the skewer right here. It's going to add a bleed that deals 20% weapon damage for every 1 second for 10 seconds. For every, 1 second for 10 seconds. And also, then you want to go to perforate. Now this is going to apply 5% rend for 10 seconds, max 3 stacks. It does 3 pokes, so you're going to have 15% rend. And then I would work your way down right here on the skewer, and that way you gain in power if skewer critical hits are increased. If skewer critical hits, increasing damage 20% for 10 seconds. So as long as you get a critical on the enemy, which I will show you right back here, you will get in power that popped up to the left there, and then now you're able to do more damage with the perforate. Then I would go down the tree on perforate. These 2 dots, you're going to be applying 30% rend, and you're going to be applying 30% weaken for 5 seconds. So the enemy is going to be more susceptible to your damage being 30% rended, and he's going to do 30% less damage to you because he's going to be weakened. That's a really good way to start off there. Then I would start working over here. Critical chance increased by 10% when attacking targets that are at least 3 meters away. So that way when you get ready to skewer, if the target's at least 3 meters away and you want to skewer, you can probably get a critical every time where it gives you in power. Then you can do the 3 pokes. And then you want to go sweep and just work your way down on that. And then you click that. So with a sweep, you're going to knock down the opponent as long as they don't have grit. But now your ability has grit. Grit means that you cannot be interrupted while doing the ability. Your character turns white and you will not be staggered, or you're going to get the ability off no matter what. And then you press the basic attack during a sweep to follow up with a heavy, keep in mind, a heavy stab that deals 150% weapon damage. Okay, so this is a heavy attack. And then 25% increased damage to knock down targets. So that's going to really start getting your damage going there. So you start off, get the skewer going, get the perforate going, and then get the sweep going. That sweep's going to be really good for CC. Crowd control is what that means. And that's going to help you on a lot of enemies because you're going to need to knock them down, maybe back up, drink a health potion or whatnot, and then you re-engage the fight. So after that, I would select this dot right here. Successful heavy attacks reduce all spear cooldowns by 15%. Because like I said, the sweep will happen, and then your stab down, the coup de grace, will be a heavy attack. So, I don't know if I actually selected that dot. There we go. Ah! Alright, so you do the skewer, you do the perforate, and now watch the cooldowns. Boom! Already starting to tick down. So 15% on that. That's nice. I would come right over here to the impeller side. Refreshing jabs. All spear cooldowns are reduced 10% on the second hit of a light attack chain. So when we do our skewer, perforate, now we get the 15% cooldown after that, and then the second hit 15% cooldown after that. You get your cooldowns real fast with the spear. That's why it's the most OP weapon in the game. It's so far the best weapon in the game. It's 10% Sorry about that. 10% cooldown on the second light attack. So not the first one, but the second one. Then I would select aggressive maneuvers right here. The first successful hit with an ability within 2 seconds of dodging reduces all spear cooldowns by 20%. So if you skewer, dodge, and then you perforate, it's already going to be adding a cooldown, and then you dodge again and do another ability. You just nonstop getting cooldowns with the spear. That's why I love it. You can sit there and do it like that, and then like this. So we're getting we're getting a lot of cooldowns here. I mean, we're getting 15% for the sweep and the coup de grace. We're getting not this won't come into play, but we're also getting cooldowns off the first successful after the first successful dodge and using an ability. You get your 20% cooldowns, and so we're just gonna have nonstop abilities here. Critical chance increased by 15% with hitting a bleeding target, which when you get the skewer off, you will make a bleed happen. So there you go. Now you have a better chance for criticals with perforate and the sweep. And that's going to be good because you're going to be front facing a lot of targets when you're ranking up. You're not going to be behind them. Critical hits extend the duration of your spear debuffs by 20%. That's really good to have. And then the ultimate, 10% bonus damage for each debuff on your target. So when you stack the rend and the weakening, you're going to get the 10% bonus damage for each debuff on your target. Max 30%. So after that, I would select stamina regen rate increased by 30% for 3 seconds after a critical hit. You could probably take this earlier on because I just thought about it. You're not gonna have a ring that has hardy, which will give you that third dodge or the second dodge without stamina. Without running out of stamina. So you could take this one earlier if you wanted to, because you're not gonna have hardy on the ring. Then that might be really good. You could also do this one. Your next dodge is 20% less stamina for 2 seconds after a successful hit. You can go those two, so you constantly have stamina. If you didn't want to do that, you could also do this. Light attacks have 5% critical chance because you're going to be front facing a lot of enemies, so that could help also. And that's what I would run. That's typical, spear, build right there. Most people are going to run these three. I would say 90 something percent. The Cyclone's really good, but you want to be able to have some CC while you're ranking up. The kick, it's good for CC, but not the greatest for ranking up. The javelin's fun to throw, but not really the greatest for ranking up. All right, let's go with the bow here. Now the bow, I already have these pre-selected. And on this account, I'm only level 8 for the bow. So I'll be going over which dots I would just start off with, and you can pick after that. I would start off with the leap. Right here. Leap back 5 meters and shoot an arrow, dealing 90% weapon damage to your target. Then I would go rain of arrows. Shoots a barrage of arrows that covers 4 meters, dealing 150% weapon damage. And then I would have this, the bleed, all right, dealing 9% weapon damage per second for 12 seconds, which is awesome. Then I would select this dot, 10% more damage to foes at least 10 meters away, deal 15% more damage to targets below 50% health, and then I would go down the tree on the rapid shot, which is shoot 3 consecutive arrows. First arrow 100% weapon damage, second 100% weapon damage, and the third 125. And then the third arrow of rapid shot deals 25% extra damage, which is really good. But this is the best part. If all 3 arrows hit the same target, rapid shots cooldowns reduced by 50%. So you get the bow, and you can do the jump back shot to give you some separation distance. You can do the rain of arrows to go ahead and stack the bleed, and then you can go ahead and pop the 3 consecutive shots right there, and that cooldown is already going to be really low. So that's a really good ability right there. So that's what I would go with on the bow. And then after that, I mean, you could just pick from there. And over here, after dodging with full stamina, gain 10% haste is really nice. This dot right here, archer speed, gain 10% haste for 5 seconds when you swap your bow. So every time you swap from your spear to your bow, you're going to get haste. And that's really good for moving around until you get your mount. That's going to give you a lot of movement speed. So I would definitely select that dot. Now, out of the ultimates, you're going to want to go left side tree. So after I pick the final blow right here, I'm going to go all left side tree. That way I can get the evasive tactics ultimate. Deal 15% more damage for 5 seconds after dodging. And with the bow, you're going to be dodging a lot. You know, get your rapid shot off, dodge. And you're going to be doing the extra damage. So that's really good to have. So this class is going to be run a lot. You're going to have great movement speed. You're going to have the ultimate weapon, which is the spear. You're going to have basically empowerment every time. You're going to have, you know, your perforate to weaken and rend the enemy. You're going to have your sweep to CC. Then you got your bow if you need to create separation distance. If you want to create a bleed, stay distance, and get your cooldowns quick. Yeah, so the bow's really, 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 really good too. That combo is probably going to be the most picked combo out of all of the classes. And if I was starting off, that's definitely the class that I would pick. Because the spear is the ultimate weapon. I can't explain it enough. It's the best weapon in the game by far, and it's not even close. I don't even think it's debatable. And then later on, you get yourself a nice glass spear, and it looked dope, man. Like see-through. You could also get a glass bow one, but I don't have it. All right. Well, that's it for today's Ranger build. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.